Earth had always looked to the stars, wondering if they were alone in the universe. On a clear June morning, they got their answer. The Araxian scout ships appeared without warning. One moment, Earth's orbital monitors showed nothing unusual. The next 7 sleek vessels hung in the sky, their hulls gleaming with an otherworldly metal that seemed to absorb sunlight rather than reflect it. Global panic lasted exactly 6 hours before the aliens made their intentions clear. They came in peace. They wished to speak with Earth's leaders. They had been watching humanity for some time and believed they were ready to join the galactic community. Commander Alan Murphy never expected to be Earth's first official diplomat to an alien species. A career military officer with a background in international relations, he was chosen for his calm demeanor and quick thinking. As his shuttle approached the designated meeting point in neutral orbit, he mentally reviewed the hastily assembled first contact protocols. "Steady now," he told his small team. "Remember, we represent all of humanity today." The inside of the Araxian vessel defied human architecture. Corridors curved in ways that seemed to bend space itself. The air carried a faint scent of cinnamon and ozone. Their hosts moved with fluid grace, their forearms performing multiple tasks simultaneously as they led the human delegation deeper into the ship. Supreme Executor Zilthax stood nearly 8 feet tall. Its skin shimmered with bioluminescent patterns that seemed to correspond with its speech. 4 yellow eyes blinked independently as it regarded the humans. "We welcome Earth to the greater community of stars," it said through a translation device. "The Galactic Council oversees 342 spacefaring civilizations. We have been observing your species and believe you are ready to take your place among us." Murphy maintained his diplomatic smile. "We're honored by your interest in our world and eager to learn more about galactic society." The initial meetings went better than anyone could have hoped. The Araxians offered technological exchanges, protection, and access to interstellar trade routes. In return, they requested only that Earth follow Council regulations and contribute resources to shared initiatives. Within weeks, Earth's governments had ratified preliminary agreements. Construction began on a permanent alien embassy in Geneva. Human representatives prepared to visit the Galactic Council headquarters. News outlets celebrated humanity's bright future among the stars. No one noticed when Chief Security Officer Nancy Clark discovered an unmarked surveillance device in the embassy's conference room. Following protocol, she kept her find quiet and turned it over to intelligence services for analysis. The device contained hundreds of hours of Araxian private conversations. Earth linguists worked day and night to translate. "These primitive bipeds actually believe we consider them equals," one recording revealed. Supreme Executor Zilthax's voice was unmistakable. "Their naivety serves our purposes well." Another voice responded, "The Council's resource projections indicate Earth will provide necessary materials for at least 30 cycles before depletion. Their military capabilities pose no threat to even our smallest vessels." And they signed the agreements. "Without a single modification," Zilthax said. "They didn't even question the resource quotas that will activate once their probationary period ends." "Humans are predictable," said a third voice. "Show them shiny technology and they fall over themselves to give you whatever you want." Clark brought the recordings directly to Murphy. They sat in silence after listening, the weight of the betrayal settling between them. "They never intended to treat us as equals," Murphy said finally. "No," Clark agreed. "And I don't think they know how humans respond to being threatened." Murphy stared out the window at the Araxian ships visible in the night sky. "We need to play along, keep smiling, keep signing agreements, but we start preparing. Quietly." "For what?" Clark asked. "For showing the galaxy exactly what happens when you underestimate Earth." 5 years passed since first contact. Earth had changed in ways both visible and hidden. Alien technology, at least the limited portions the Araxians shared, had helped solve energy crises and advance medical science. Gleaming Galactic Council outposts stood in major cities. Ships from a dozen alien civilizations visited regularly, though humans weren't permitted to travel beyond their own solar system without special permission. Lieutenant Susan Garcia worked in the Earth Diplomatic Corps' Records Division. Her job involved processing resource exchange documents between Earth and the Council. For months, she had noticed a troubling pattern. The resource quotas demanded from Earth kept increasing while technology transfers decreased. One night, working late, she accessed a section of the Council's data network that wasn't supposed to be available to humans. What she found made her blood run cold. Earth had been classified as a resource extraction world, a designation usually reserved for uninhabited planets. The Council had never intended to welcome humans as equals. The entire First Contact had been engineered to gain access to Earth's resources without resistance. Garcia downloaded the evidence and headed straight to Governor Ryan Peterson, Earth's appointed representative to the Galactic Council. "They've been lying to us from the beginning," she explained, showing him the documents. "Look at these quotas scheduled to begin next month. They're demanding 70% of our global metal production, 50% of our fresh water reserves, and mining rights to our entire Arctic region." Peterson studied the files, his face growing darker. "This violates every agreement we signed." "Because the agreements were never meant to protect us," Garcia said. "According to their classification system, we're barely considered sentient." The next day, Peterson demanded an emergency hearing at the Galactic Council chamber, a massive space station orbiting Jupiter. 6 human representatives faced over 300 alien delegates. "These resource demands will devastate our planet," Peterson declared, his voice echoing in the vast chamber. "Earth signed treaties as an equal partner, not as a resource farm." Supreme Counselor Zilthax, now promoted to the Council's leadership, regarded the humans with all 4 eyes blinking in an unsynchronized pattern that humans had learned indicated amusement. "Your species misunderstands its position," Zilthax said. "Earth was never granted full membership status. You were classified under Statute 12B as a developing world with exploitable resources. This classification was clearly defined in subparagraph 47 delta of the joining agreement. That paragraph was written in technical language that didn't translate properly," argued Patricia Lewis, Earth's legal expert. "You deliberately obscured these terms." A ripple of sounds, the alien equivalent of laughter, spread through the chamber. "Your inability to understand galactic legal standards is not our concern," declared a delegate from the Vrock's hegemony. "The paperwork was filed correctly. The extraction quotas begin next month." Peterson stepped forward. "Earth rejects these terms. We withdraw from all agreements effective immediately." Silence fell over the chamber. Then Zilthax stood to its full height. "You have no authority to withdraw. Council enforcement will ensure Earth's compliance." It made a gesture, and 4 security drones surrounded the human delegation. "This discussion is concluded. Humans lack the standing to challenge Council directives." As the humans were escorted from the chamber, Garcia whispered to Peterson, "They're coming for our resources whether we agree or not." Peterson nodded grimly. "Then we need to prepare. Whatever they think of humans, they're about to learn we don't surrender what's ours without a fight." 3 days later, massive Araxian warships appeared in Earth's orbit. The message broadcast worldwide was simple. Earth would comply with Council resource directives or face pacification. The occupation of Earth had begun. The Araxian warships hung in Earth's skies like metal mountains. Their shadows fell across cities as they deployed smaller craft to secure strategic locations. Within days, alien mining operations began. Massive machines carved into Earth's surface, extracting metals, minerals, and water at rates that shocked even the most pessimistic human observers. Earth's governments publicly surrendered to prevent civilian casualties. The United Nations issued a formal statement accepting the Galactic Council's authority and urging citizens to cooperate with the occupation forces. News channels showed world leaders shaking hands with Araxian commanders, their faces grim but resigned. In his underground laboratory beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. William Hayes didn't believe the surrender was real. As one of Earth's leading physicists, he had been studying pieces of alien technology since first contact. Now his team worked around the clock, dismantling captured Araxian equipment. "Look at how their power systems function," he explained to his assistant. They use quantum coupling that's similar to theories we developed years ago, but never had the materials to build. Can we replicate it? She asked. Hayes smiled. Better. We can improve it. Across the planet, others worked in secret as well. Former Marine Frank Collins led a growing resistance network that spread through old military channels. His teams focused on gathering intelligence and capturing alien technology without confrontation. We don't engage unless absolutely necessary, Collins told his unit leaders during a secure video conference. Our advantage is that they think we've given up. Let's keep it that way while we learn everything we can. In Paris, the Araxians converted the Eiffel Tower into a communication relay. In Beijing, they demolished historic neighborhoods to build processing facilities. In the Amazon, they cleared vast sections of rainforest for landing zones. On the surface, humanity appeared broken. People kept their heads down. They worked in alien facilities. They watched their planet's resources being shipped away. Araxian commanders reported to the Council that the primitive humans had accepted their place. But beneath the surface, Earth prepared. In facilities hidden under oceans, inside mountains, and beneath Arctic ice, humans worked tirelessly. Scientists reverse-engineered alien technology. Engineers developed new weapons systems. Hackers probed the edges of alien networks, gathering data without detection. Dr. Hayes made his breakthrough in month 3 of the occupation. After studying captured communication devices, he discovered how to intercept and decrypt Araxian transmissions. It's actually not that sophisticated, he told the resistance leadership. They never expected us to understand their technology well enough to crack it. With access to enemy communications, Earth's resistance gained a crucial advantage. They learned patrol schedules, shipping routes, and most importantly, the aliens' opinion of humans. They don't consider us a threat, Collins said during a secure meeting. Their security is getting increasingly lax because they think we're simply accepting our fate. In Washington, D.C., nominal Earth President Olivia Martin maintained her facade of cooperation. She attended meetings with Araxian commanders, approved their resource requisitions, and publicly urged citizens to remain peaceful. After each meeting, she returned to her office, swept it for surveillance devices, and transmitted coded messages to resistance cells around the world. The aliens are expanding mining operations in Africa next week, she relayed to Collins. They're also reducing security forces in North America by 20%. They believe we're pacified. Collins smiled grimly. That's exactly what we want, them to think. Meanwhile, deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, Captain Laura Wilson trained with the crew of Earth's first secretly constructed warship, built with a combination of human ingenuity and reverse-engineered alien technology. It represented humanity's first real hope against the occupiers. We'll only get one chance at this, she told her crew. When we strike, it needs to be perfect. The occupation continued, and the aliens remained unaware that Earth was preparing to fight back. 6 months into the occupation, Earth launched Operation Silent Dagger. The plan represented humanity's best chance at freedom, combining stealth, technology, and precise timing. Captain Laura Wilson studied her reflection in the mirror. The genetic modifications had worked perfectly. Her skin now had the faint purple tint of a Kivaran, one of the servant species the Araxians used for menial work. Her eyes were enlarged and solid black. She barely recognized herself. Your identification chip is embedded in your left palm, explained Dr. Hayes, handing her a small device that looked like a serving tray. The ship's security systems will read it automatically and identify you as worker K29873. Wilson nodded. How long will the modifications last? 72 hours. After that, your body will reject them. You need to be off the command ship by then. The plan hinged on placing humans inside key Araxian facilities. Wilson's mission was the most dangerous, infiltrating the Supreme Commander's flagship orbiting Earth. As a disguised servant, she would place tiny quantum transmitters throughout the vessel, creating backdoor access to their systems. That same day, Kevin Park led a team of Earth's best hackers in their assault on the Galactic Council's secure networks. Unlike the brute force attacks aliens might expect, Park's approach was elegant. They slipped through the system using credentials harvested from damaged alien data cores, moving slowly to avoid detection. "We're in," Park whispered as his screen filled with alien code. Beginning Phase 1. His team didn't try to control or damage the networks. Instead, they quietly mapped the system's architecture, identifying weak points and gathering intelligence. Most importantly, they located the emergency protocols that would activate if the Araxians lost communication with their Earth forces. On the flagship, Wilson moved through corridors with her head bowed, just as Kieveran's servants were expected to do. Araxians barely glanced at her. She placed transmitters in environmental control systems, communication hubs, and weapons control stations, each tiny device connected to Dr. Hayes' network, giving Earth unprecedented access. Final transmitter placed, she subvocalized into her hidden communicator. Moving to extraction point. Below on Earth, Frank Collins's resistance cells simultaneously hit 37 alien mining operations. They didn't attack the aliens directly. Instead, they targeted the machinery, placing specialized devices that would activate later. "Remember, we're just preparing the battlefield," Collins told his teams. "No confrontation today." In Geneva, President Martin attended an official meeting with Supreme Commander Vexnar, the Araxian military leader overseeing Earth's occupation. "Your cooperation has made this transition smoother than anticipated," Vexnar told her, its forearms moving in elaborate gestures of satisfaction. "The Council is pleased with Earth's productivity." Martin forced a smile. "We understand our place in the galactic community." "Good, because your quotas will increase by 30% next month." Martin's smile didn't waver, though her hands tightened beneath the table. "We'll do our best to comply." As these operations unfolded, Dr. Hayes made his own critical discovery. Analyzing data from Wilson's transmitters, he identified a fundamental weakness in Araxian defensive systems. "Their shields operate on a resonance frequency that changes every 30 seconds, he explained to the Resistance leadership. "But the pattern is predictable. There's a half-second vulnerability during each cycle. Can we exploit it?" Collins asked. "Absolutely. Their entire defense network uses the same protocols. If we time our attacks precisely, we can penetrate their shields." President Martin left her meeting and returned to her secured underground command center. Representatives from every major resistance cell waited for her report. "The Araxians are planning to begin harvesting operations in populated areas next month," she told them. "They no longer see a need to maintain the pretense of respecting human settlements." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. "Then we've run out of time," Collins said finally. Martin nodded. "Launch the counterattack in 3 days. All assets, all locations simultaneously." Wilson, still disguised, overheard Araxian officers discussing human compliance with satisfaction. "Such docile creatures," one said. "I expected more resistance." Wilson kept her eyes down, but a small smile crossed her face. The Araxians were about to learn how wrong they were. The true scale of Earth's resistance remained hidden beneath the waves. While the Araxians focused on land-based mining operations, humanity had turned the depths of Earth's oceans into vast shipyards. Fleet Admiral John Davis stood on the observation deck of Facility Atlantis, the largest of Earth's underwater bases. Stretching before him was an enormous construction bay cut into the ocean floor. Workers swarmed over the hull of the EDF Defiance, Earth's first capital ship built with reverse-engineered alien technology. "How soon can she be ready?" Davis asked. Chief Engineer Maria Gonzalez checked her tablet. "Final weapons integration completes tonight. We'll be combat-ready by tomorrow." "And the rest of the fleet?" 36 ships operational. Another 14 will be ready within 48 hours. Davis nodded, impressed despite himself. 6 months ago, these facilities didn't exist. Now they housed humanity's secret navy. Built while aliens stripped the surface world, the underwater bases had been the perfect solution. Araxian scanners couldn't penetrate the deep ocean effectively, and they had never bothered to try. Why would they? Their intelligence indicated humans had no significant space capability before first contact. What the Araxians failed to realize was how quickly humans could adapt. Engineer Gonzalez had pioneered a hybrid technology approach, combining Earth's existing engineering with concepts gleaned from alien systems. The beauty is in the simplicity, Gonzalez explained as she led Davis through the Defiance's engine room. Their propulsion systems are more advanced, but they're over-engineered. We stripped out the redundancies and created something leaner, faster. The ships didn't match alien vessels in raw power, but they had advantages. Earth vessels were smaller, more maneuverable, and incorporated stealth systems the aliens had never developed. Why would spacefaring conquerors need to hide? They had never faced serious resistance. In another section of the facility, soldiers trained with newly developed weapons. The rifles looked almost conventional, but they fired projectiles surrounded by energy fields that could penetrate Araxian shields during their reset vulnerability. Remember, timing is everything, the instructor told them. Fire on my mark, not before. Davis continued his inspection, stopping at the command center where a three-dimensional holographic display showed Earth and the positions of all known alien vessels. They've concentrated their fleet here, he said, pointing to a cluster of ships above North America. When we emerge, they'll try to reposition to counter us. That's where our stealth systems come in, said his tactical officer. We'll be in firing position before they detect us. The admiral nodded. And the ground assault teams? Ready to deploy. Once the orbital blockade is engaged, they'll move to recapture key facilities. Davis had never wanted to be a wartime commander. He had joined Earth's Navy during peacetime, expecting a career of exploration and diplomacy. Now he carried the weight of humanity's freedom on his shoulders. Throughout the facility, similar scenes played out. Pilots ran combat simulations, engineers made final adjustments to shield generators, communication specialists synchronized their encrypted channels. In a quiet moment, Davis found Gonzalez staring at a completed fighter craft. Having doubts? He asked. She shook her head, just thinking about how differently this could have gone. If they'd actually shared their technology, freely worked with us as partners, imagine what humanity could have accomplished. Instead, they taught us something else, Davis said. Never underestimate a species fighting for survival. At facilities around the world, beneath the Mediterranean, the South China Sea, the Caribbean, Earth's hidden fleet prepared for battle. The ships represented a miracle of human ingenuity and determination, built in secret while the planet appeared subjugated. In his quarters, Davis reviewed the final attack plan one last time. Everything depended on coordination. Earth's ships would emerge simultaneously worldwide, targeting Araxian vessels during their shield reset window. They couldn't match the aliens in numbers or firepower, but they didn't need to. They just needed to break the blockade long enough to implement the next phase of the plan. All stations report ready, Admiral, his communications officer announced. Davis nodded. Commence final countdown. We launch in 12 hours. The attack began at dawn. Across Earth, resistance fighters moved simultaneously against alien mining operations. Unlike their previous sabotage missions, today they struck with lethal precision. Major Samuel Wright led the assault on the North American Processing Center, formerly known as Denver. His team moved through the morning fog, their weapons ready. Each soldier carried both conventional firearms and the new shield-penetrating rifles. Remember your training, Wright told them over the secure comm. Hit them during the shield reset, not before, not after. The processing center sprawled across what had once been downtown. Massive alien machinery extracted minerals from crushed Earth materials, while Araxian overseers monitored operations. They had grown complacent after months without resistance. The first they knew of the attack was when Wright's snipers took out the communication array. By then, it was too late. Now, Wright commanded, and 50 soldiers emerged from hiding places. They fired in perfect synchronization. The specialized round struck during the half-second window when Araxian shields reset. Alien supervisors fell before they could sound alarms. Similar scenes played out at facilities worldwide. The ground attacks were only the beginning. AIDDR, diversion to draw attention from what came next. Beneath the oceans, massive bay doors opened. The Earth Defense Fleet rose from their hidden docks, water cascading from their hulls as they accelerated toward the sky. 52 ships, each representing thousands of hours of secret labor, emerged simultaneously across the globe. On the bridge of the EDF Defiance, Admiral Davis watched as his vessel broke the surface. "All ships, execute attack pattern Delta," he ordered. "Target the blockade vessels on my mark." The Araxian ships in orbit were caught completely unprepared. Their sensors registered multiple launches from Earth's oceans, but the data made no sense. Humans weren't supposed to have this capability. By the time they began to respond, Earth's fleet had already achieved attack position. "Fire," Davis commanded. Earth's ships fired their main weapons in perfect coordination, targeting the Araxian vessels exactly as their shields entered the reset phase. Energy beams sliced through suddenly vulnerable hulls. Smaller Araxian vessels exploded immediately. Larger ships suffered critical damage. In his command ship, Supreme Commander Vex Nar received frantic reports from across the planet. "Impossible," he snarled. "How did they develop these weapons? Where did these ships come from?" "Human resistance forces have captured the Nevada mining complex," an officer reported. Similar reports coming in from all continents. Vex Nar activated the emergency channel to the Galactic Council. "Send reinforcements immediately. The humans have..." His transmission was cut short as the EDF Defiance appeared directly before his flagship. The human vessel was smaller but maneuvered with incredible speed, firing precisely at the command ship's vulnerable points. "How are they targeting our shield resets?" demanded Vex Nar. "That information is classified." On Earth, Kevin Park's hacker team had gained full control of the alien communication network, cutting off their distress calls to the Council. Park reported. "They're isolated." The battle in orbit continued for 3 hours. Earth's ships couldn't match Araxian firepower directly, but their superior maneuverability and perfect timing allowed them to inflict devastating damage while minimizing their own losses. Major Wright's ground forces secured the Denver facility intact. Similar successes were reported worldwide. "We've captured their database," Wright reported, "and something else. Their staging area contains stockpiles of Earth resources ready for transport. They've been taking even more than we realized." The most significant victory came when Captain Wilson, now recovered from her genetic modifications, led a boarding party onto Vex Nar's damaged flagship. Her team fought their way to the bridge where they found the Supreme Commander attempting to activate a self-destruct sequence. "I don't think so," Wilson said, shooting the control panel. "We need this ship intact." Vex Nar turned to face her, all 4 arms reaching for weapons. "You primitives can't possibly understand what you're doing. The Council will annihilate your species for this rebellion." Wilson smiled coldly. "That's exactly what we're counting on." By sunset, Earth had achieved what the Araxians had thought impossible. The occupation forces were defeated, their ships captured or destroyed. For the first time in 6 months, humans controlled their own planet again. But everyone knew this was just the beginning. The real battle would come when the Galactic Council learned of Earth's rebellion. The captured Araxian flagship moved silently through space, approaching the massive Galactic Council station, orbiting the gas giant Proxima 9. From the outside, the vessel appeared normal, another Council warship returning from routine duties. Inside, Admiral Davis and his human crew worked carefully at alien controls. "Approaching final checkpoint," Captain Wilson reported from her station. "Transmitting Araxian identification codes now." The codes had been extracted from the ship's database along with command protocols and communication frequencies. Supreme Commander Vex Nar remained in the ship's brig, refusing to cooperate but no longer needed. "Identification accepted," Wilson said as the station's massive docking bay opened to receive them. "We're clear to proceed." Davis nodded grimly. Earth's entire plan hinged on what happened next. Defeating the occupation forces had been just the first step. Now they needed to prevent the Council from sending an even larger fleet to punish humanity. Everyone remember your roles, Davis told his crew. We look like Araxians until we reach the council chamber. The genetic modification technology that had allowed Wilson to infiltrate the flagship had been expanded. 24 human officers now wore the appearance of various council species. The disguises would only last a few hours, but that should be enough. As the ship docked, Davis adjusted his own disguise. With 4 arms and purple-tinged skin, he now appeared to be a high-ranking Araxian commander. Receiving emergency session notification, said Communications Officer Lisa Chen. The council is already gathering to discuss the Earth situation. Perfect timing. News of Earth's rebellion had reached the council, but details remained scarce. The emergency session had been called to determine a response. Davis led his disguised team through the station's corridors. Other aliens nodded respectfully at what appeared to be Araxian military leadership. None suspected that humans had already infiltrated their most secure facility. Meanwhile, in orbit around Earth, Kevin Park's hacker team had completed their most ambitious task. Using access gained through the Araxian network, they now controlled the Council Station's internal systems. Every camera, every security checkpoint, every door, all responded to Earth's commands. "We're in position," Park reported to President Martin back on Earth. "Beginning data upload." The council chamber itself was a massive amphitheater. 300 representatives from spacefaring civilizations throughout the galaxy sat in tiered seats surrounding a central speaking platform. Supreme Counselor Zilthax was already addressing the gathering. "The primitive humans have somehow managed to overcome our occupation forces," Zilthax was saying. "I propose immediate punitive action. We must send the Grand Fleet to pacify Earth. Completely. No more pretense of partnership." Davis and his team entered through the main doors. The chamber fell silent as what appeared to be Araxian military commanders approached the central platform. "Supreme Commander Vexnar," Zilthax acknowledged, surprised. "We believed you captured or killed." Davis stepped forward. "There has been a significant development." With that, he deactivated his genetic disguise. Gasps echoed through the chamber as his extra arms dissolved and his skin returned to human coloration. Around him, his team also revealed their true forms. "I am Admiral John Davis of Earth," he announced, "and we are here to negotiate new terms." Chaos erupted in the chamber. Council security forces moved to apprehend the humans, but found their weapons wouldn't activate. Doors sealed, trapping everyone inside. "Your security systems are currently under Earth control," Davis informed them calmly. "As are your communication networks and life support systems. I suggest you listen carefully." On the massive screen surrounding the chamber, images began to play. The recording showed Araxian commanders discussing plans to strip Earth of resources. Council sessions classifying humans as primitives, unworthy of protection. Secret directives authorizing exploitation of underdeveloped worlds. "These records were in your own databases," Davis continued. "Evidence of systematic exploitation not just of Earth, but dozens of other worlds." The council representatives watched in shock as their private deliberations were exposed. "You've violated your own charter," Davis said. "You've committed crimes against sentient beings, and now you face a choice." He gestured, and the station's defensive systems came online, turning inward. "Earth doesn't want war. We want justice. These are our terms. Full sovereignty for Earth, complete withdrawal of all council forces from our system, and reparations for damage done. Additionally, we demand prosecution of those responsible for authorizing Earth's exploitation." Zilthax rose to its full height. "You dare threaten the Galactic Council? We represent the combined might of 300 civilizations." Davis smiled. "And yet here we are, a primitive species holding your entire leadership hostage. Perhaps it's time to reconsider your definition of primitive." The negotiations lasted 7 days. At first, many council representatives refused to accept Earth's demands, believing rescue would come. By the 3rd day, when no help arrived and Earth's control of the station remained absolute, attitudes began to change. Admiral Davis maintained a calm demeanor throughout the talks. He neither threatened nor conceded, simply presenting Earth's terms with the quiet confidence of someone holding all the advantages. "We have reviewed your evidence," said Representative Krell of the Mantidean Alliance on the final day. "The exploitation of developing worlds violates the founding principles of the Council. Many of us were unaware of these actions." "Ignorance doesn't excuse the harm done," Davis replied. "Earth lost thousands of lives during the occupation. Entire ecosystems were damaged by reckless mining. The Council chamber had transformed during the week." Nearly a third of the representatives now sat on Earth's side of the room, species who had themselves suffered similar treatment but lacked the strength to resist. "The Council structure must change," declared Ambassador Neary of the Telfin worlds, her crystalline form glittering as she spoke. "Earth has exposed corruption at our highest levels." Supreme Counselor Zilthax watched with mounting fury as support for its position eroded. "These humans manipulate you with selective evidence. They are dangerous primitives who belong under proper supervision." "We're dangerous only when threatened," Davis corrected. "Earth seeks peaceful relations with all species who treat us with respect." The final vote came on the 7th day. By a narrow margin, the Council accepted Earth's terms. The Sovereign Species Accord was drafted, guaranteeing rights for all intelligent life regardless of technological development. "No world may be exploited against its will," read the first article. "All sentient species hold equal standing in matters affecting their homeworlds." As part of the agreement, the Araxian leadership faced trial for crimes against sentient beings. Supreme Counselor Zilthax and Commander Vexnar were found guilty and sentenced to rehabilitation on a monastery world far from centers of power. Earth received reparations in the form of technology transfers and assistance repairing environmental damage. More importantly, humanity gained full Council membership with the same voting rights as ancient spacefaring civilizations. 6 months after the Council Chamber's standoff, President Martin addressed the United Nations in New York. "Today marks a new chapter in human history," she said. "Our planet is healing. Our people are united as never before. And our place in the galactic community is secure." She gestured to the alien ambassadors seated nearby, representatives from species who had become Earth's closest allies after witnessing their successful rebellion. "We've learned that advancement isn't measured by age or technology alone but by principles," Martin continued. "The Sovereign Species Accord now protects 17 previously exploited worlds. Together, we ensure that what happened to Earth never happens again." Admiral Davis, now serving as Earth's military representative to the Council, stood on the observation deck of the newly constructed orbital station Unity. Below him, Earth shone blue and green, mining scars already fading as restoration projects progressed. "Beautiful view," said Ambassador Neary, joining him. Davis nodded. "Worth fighting for?" "The Council underestimated your species badly," she noted. "Many still don't understand how you succeeded. They thought technology determined capability," Davis explained. "They never considered that being threatened might inspire innovation rather than submission." On Earth and throughout the galaxy, the story spread. How a supposedly primitive planet had overthrown its occupiers and forced the mighty Galactic Council to reform. How humans had accomplished in 6 months what other species had failed to do in centuries. The Council's archives recorded the event with a simple title, The Earth Rebellion. But across countless worlds, it became known by another name, Earth's Devastating Revenge. In the newly restructured Council chambers, Earth's delegation took their seats for the first time as full members. The chamber fell silent as Davis approached the speaking platform. "Earth comes to the galactic community not seeking dominance, but partnership," he began. "Not vengeance, but justice. We bring with us a perspective the Council has lacked, that of a species who remembers being powerless, who values freedom because we have fought for it, who understands that true civilization protects the vulnerable rather than exploiting them.